A wild chase on the streets and highways in and around Los Angeles.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my gosh, he was shooting his gun!
The police may not be in the most favorable of lights given the events of 2020 and beyond, but there's honestly no doubt that we still need the police force in order to help maintain order. And given that police are supposed to go and handle just about everything, based on how society views them and funds them, they need a lot of gadgets and devices to help them deal with all the possible scenarios that come their way. But how many of these unique gadgets do you honestly know about? Allow us to show you 11 police gadgets you didn't know existed. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 11. The Crook Hook. Police chases can be a very dangerous and downright deadly thing, having them as a last resort for many officers because of the dangers they pose. However, if one was to happen, the police honestly do have a lot of options to take the fleeing out without doing too much damage. One of the more unique inventions though is that of the Crook Hook. It is an attachment that is put on the front of police cars, and when a police chase is on, they go and activate the Crook Hook, go right up to the tail end of the car, and then hook onto it. Because of how it's positioned, it'll latch on with minimal effort and without putting too much stress on the hook. The officer can then put the brakes on and slow the car down without risking lives or other vehicles. A pretty handy device and not something people would immediately suspect as they try and get away from them. Number 10. Bulletproof origami. In the field, there are a few things that you absolutely need in order to minimize casualties of any kind among officers. One of the biggest things is protection from both sight and from bullets. The classic trope is for officers to hide behind their car doors, but they aren't bulletproof, and thus they only help in minor ways. That's why the device known as the bulletproof origami is such an important tool. This is a foldable shield that officers can deploy in the field very quickly and know that they will be safe behind it because it is indeed bulletproof. It has 12 layers of Kevlar, but just as important, when it's unfolded, it has an expansive size that can house 2 to 3 officers, thus offering more protection than your standard police shield. Should more departments get this, it could significantly help limit injuries and deaths in the field. Number 9. Grappler Police Bumper. As noted, a high-speed chase is something that happens with police a lot. While it's been glamorized in things like the Fast and the Furious franchise, these are a real threat and they can cause a lot of problems for police officers. Not the least of which is that in pedestrian areas, there are very few ways for the police to immediately stop the perp without doing serious property damage or hurting civilians. Enter the Grappler Police Bumper. Not unlike the origami shield that we just talked about, this device can be stored quite easily on the front side of the police car chasing the fleeing suspect. And then with the push of a button, it can deploy. Once it's unwound, all the officer has to do is get close enough and wrap a serious thread around the back wheel. They'll wrap around the wheel in a loop, and then the police car can slam onto their brakes in order to slow them down and eventually stop the vehicle. The method is like the Crook Hook, but a different variation on it. Either way though, it helps stop the car and ensure the chase definitively stops. Number 8. Cube. The world today is full of drones, and some would say this is a bad thing, but for the police, it's just another tool in their arsenals. One in particular they use is called Cube. This was a drone made specifically for the police so that they could help track down fleeing criminals as they move throughout the public space, such as a neighborhood. The drone only takes 5 minutes to set up, and it can last 40 minutes in the air, which is more than enough time to get the job done and alert the police to where the suspect is. The camera on the drone loops back to a control system and allows the officer in charge to see everything that it sees, thus giving them a true aerial recon that they can use without needing something like a helicopter looming over them and having a measure of stealth. Number 7. Battleskin Viper Helmet. On the battlefield, having the best protection is paramount, but you also want something that won't restrict your movements, especially when it comes to your head. Most military and police units have their own version of a helmet, but one of the best of the bunch is known as the Battleskin Viper Helmet. This was made for the military, but it is in use by police too because of how good of a helmet it is. One of the key elements of the helmet is the variability of it all. You can use it in just the basic helmet format of just protecting the top of your head, or you can switch it up to protect your eyes with a visor or even the lower jaw with a chin strap attachment. The helmet was rated for the military and thus can shield wearers from ballistic fire and even fragments and explosions. Police are always looking for extra protection in the field, and this certainly qualifies. Number 6. Recon Scout XT. When you're in a situation that you don't have enough information for, you need to have a way of doing recon without getting caught. The Recon Scout XT was built for the police and the military to do just that. This little robot may not seem like much, but that is all just part of the illusion. It was built in a way to allow it to go just about anywhere on ground or up certain things, all without making a sound. Plus, it has an infrared light to see in the dark and a camera to allow it to showcase what it's finding to its controller, which is perfect for reconning an area before busting in to get the criminals inside. Number 5. Nimbo. Now, if that kind of robot is not your thing, how about Nimbo? This is an autonomous robot built to help secure areas and do patrol routes. Yes, this is a robot that works on its own to survey and patrol areas so that cops don't have to, and they're actually quite advanced, including being able to distinguish light from inanimate objects and be sure to avoid them as it goes along its route. Now, when it finds a threat, it alerts the controller and can follow the suspect for some time without losing them. As if that wasn't enough, a person can ride on Nimbo like a scooter as it goes along. Number 4. Bozina Riot System. A riot is another situation where police often have trouble containing the situation, which is why the Bozina Riot System is arguably one of their best tools. This was built to be a literal wall of which special forces of police like SWAT can stand behind and use to push back or disperse the people in the riot. The wall itself is very high, so it cannot be climbed, and there are even attachments you can put on the front to push away things like cars. Some would definitely deem this excessive though, especially in light of how police have handled riots in 2020 and beyond. Number 3. Mobile Spike. There are many ways for high-speed chases to end quickly and efficiently, and one of the best ways is through a spike strip. Mobile Spike is one such strip. The device is attached to the front of the police car, and then the car will get next to the suspects, and with a push of a button, it deploys. The spikes take chunks out of the tire, ensuring that it deflates in under a minute while avoiding a full blowout, thus ending the chase. Number 2. Halmatro Door Blaster. Now, if you're familiar with crime scenes, you'll know that one of the most important things when searching for a suspect is being able to get inside the door. The Halmatro Door Blaster is one such tool to make sure that happens without injuries to the police. It uses pneumatic power to break open any locked door, all without making a sound, thus keeping the element of surprise. A quick and effective way to enter a home or base without raising more suspicion of your approach. Number 1. Doggo. When you need to get into a building to subdue combatants, but going inside yourself is too risky, the Doggo is there to help you get through a situation. This is a tiny robot RC vehicle that can be sent into a building, which uses a camera to help show its operator what is going on, and then has a 9mm gun that can be used to take out enemies without risking the soldiers' lives. It has a surprising accuracy and range, and is all due to how the robot is built. And because it's doing the dirty work, it protects the police from immediate harm. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the police gadgets that are used out in the field that you might not have known about beforehand? Were you surprised at some of the versatility that they have with their gadgets? Do you feel that some of these gadgets are a bit too much given their role in keeping the peace? What other devices do you think they're not overtly showing the world? Just let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we will see you next time on the channel.